Zach, a busy morning out there, so we'll start you off with this water main break in Quincy. It is on Hancock Street, which is currently shut down in both directions between East and West Squantum and Newport Ave Extension. Quincy police say they have shut off the water. Work is continuing, and they do expect Hancock to be closed throughout the morning commute. So they say your best bet is to use Newport Ave or Newport Ave Extension. So a heads up there in Quincy. We'll also take a look at the expressway. Stop-and-go traffic here in Dorchester. Delays like this stretch all the way back to the Braintree split. We had an earlier multi-car crash in the expressway. Just really hasn't recovered. It's been slow and go ever since then, Liam.
One of those bad days for traffic. Why Boston might consider another curfew.
Plus evacuations in South Boston after a car slams into a restaurant. Our top stories begin with that breaking news.
A car smashed directly into the front of this South Boston pizza place overnight, waking up all of those who live above it. Residents say the entire building shook when the car came crashing into the West Broadway building around 1 this morning. Part of the structure compromised, forcing residents out the back while Boston Fire's technical rescue team set up stabilizing columns in the front. Everyone was accounted for and evacuated safely. The driver was taken to the hospital with injuries. 6 people are now displaced, though it's unclear when they will get to go back into their apartments. Boston Fire says nobody else was hurt. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. Reporting live here in South Boston for now, Lisa Greshey, WBZ This Morning.
Well, President Trump and Joe Biden holding dueling town hall events. They replaced the planned presidential debate originally set for last night. President Trump had rejected plans to shift to a virtual debate after he tested positive for COVID-19. Biden held his town hall event in Philadelphia and attacked the Trump administration's handling of the pandemic. President Trump held his in Miami, where he challenged Biden on law and order.
Coronavirus cases are on the rise here in Boston, and Mayor Walsh says they are ready to enforce COVID-19 restrictions to prevent another surge or shutdown. The positive test rate for the coronavirus in Boston has risen to 4.4%, and about half of all new coronavirus cases are people under the age of 30. So the city is taking a tougher stance, looking into fines for tenants and landlords for house parties, as well as a potential curfew. The city will also be doing spot checks at restaurants to make sure that capacity limits are being followed. Reporting live in the North End, Anna Myler, WBZ This Morning.
City leaders in Salem are hoping to scare visitors away from the Witch City with Halloween just 2 weeks away. At a news conference set for this morning, Salem's mayor is expected to once again ask visitors to postpone any trips to the city. Despite previous pleas, crowds have still been showing up. The mayor, along with public health and safety officials, will also detail additional steps to handle any crowds leading up to Halloween.
Nationally, there have been more than 680,000 coronavirus infections reported in the past 2 weeks. 60,000 new cases were reported Wednesday alone. That is a single-day high not seen since the summer. 37 states are seeing a rise in infections. There have been nearly 8 million confirmed cases in the U.S. since the pandemic began.
A new study is questioning the effectiveness of the drug remdesivir. The World Health Organization now says it has little or no effect on mortality rates for patients hospitalized with COVID-19, and they say it does not seem to help patients recover faster. Remdesivir is the only drug the FDA granted emergency authorization for to treat COVID-19. A previous study in the U.S. found it shortened recovery time for patients who were severely ill.
A new study from the Department of Defense suggests there is a low risk of getting the coronavirus on airplanes if all passengers wear masks. The study finds airplane ventilation systems eliminate almost all airborne particles that could transmit